Cheers, guys. I'm not gonna lie, there's actually nothing in this cup. It's pretty much a prop today. Usually I have coffee in it when I'm making these videos, but there's actually nothing inside of it today. Um, the purpose of the video that I'm actually making today is to talk about really discourse. I mean, I want to talk about illegal legal immigration and the value of actually having discourse with people that you don't agree with. It sounds cool to say that, but at some point now, especially in my life, I realize that this is true. It's not a question of, oh yeah, it sounds nice to say I agree with people that, or I rather, I have conversations with people that I don't agree with. You have to, in order to have a society that can function well without, like someone pointed out in one of a previous video, without name calling and calling people the bad guy just because they don't agree with what you feel. I I had an encounter because a friend of mine who I've known for years, after the assassination or the passing of Charlie, I posted a tribute to Charlie, and of course it really hurts me a lot. And I confess that I wept for a man I never met before, a lot, because in spirit it felt like we had lost the light here, even though I know he's with the Lord. Anyhow, a friend of mine who I'd known for years, we don't talk all the time, we're not in the same place, had unfollowed me, and I just had an instinct about it, like this person unfollowed me on Instagram. So I reached out to the person, and I just had a conversation with the person today. We talked about a lot of stuff, and he confirmed what I suspected, that he unfollowed me because I posted a tribute to Charlie Kirk, which he felt offended by because he believed that Charlie was pro genocide in Gaza. This is a whole long discussion that I cannot get into right now. But we ended up having a discussion when we're talking now, and he appreciated that I reached out, and we don't agree on everything, but we were able to have a really good conversation nonetheless. And I understand his hurt. The truth is that a lot of the time when we have perspectives or we're looking at things from one side, we don't consider the pain that other people may be going through. Even if we think that they're wrong, we don't consider that they truly are in pain, and they may be reacting or responding because they are in pain, you know? And I now see this before more so than I ever have in my life. And I really want to be able to relate to people who don't agree with me or disagree, and really understand where they're coming from, because at the end of the day, I want to love these people like Christ would have us do. And we have to try and understand each other. So which leads me into the topic of illegal immigration today, because, you know, this is a topic that, I mean, on the surface, when you look at it, you're like, of course, man, why would you encourage illegal immigration? It should not happen, and it should not, for the benefit of the country. And then you have the argument of people who know people who maybe came illegally, and they don't want to see their friends harmed, and they're like, this person is not a bad person or whatnot. And these things are true and they happen. And in cases like this, you wonder who's the bad guy or who's not. And I don't really think it's so much about anybody being the bad guy. I think it's just perspectives and what is best for society as a whole. And of course, the rule of law must be maintained. I mean, if there is no law and order, there's just chaos, right? So while I sympathize with people in situations like this, and I think it is important to sympathize because we cannot exist in a world without empathy. It just makes us all seem soulless. I do also believe in law, but I don't know. I think sometimes that I believe in law, man. I just believe that law is important, but I also believe in being considerate. And if we are somehow able to balance the two, then I think that we would live in a more godly society um, than we currently do. But as for the discourse that comes with topics and discussions like of this nature rather, um, it's important that, like I said, we have empathy towards other people's perspectives or opinions, because a person is a person. They really have thoughts just like you, and they have a place that they're coming from, and they may be seeing things from a lens that you're not. Most likely they are, because we hardly see things from exactly the same lens. Even when we do see things on the same side or from the same, or rather when we're on the same side, we often still don't see things from the same lens. And now I value discussion. And ironically, that Charlie's assassination has done that even more now. So for me, because I think it's so important to understand each other. I mean, where is the violence gonna take us to? The endless violence, and the hatred and the name calling, and this person is bad because he said this. We also don't even take into account that we're all growing as we're doing what it is that we're doing in our lives, especially with public figures. I mean, you say something bad and all of a sudden you're evil for the rest of your life. But I mean, we're constantly growing. I may be a different person tomorrow than I am today. Hopefully, I'm more Christ-like than I am uh, in this very moment. So I mean, we're constantly evolving and growing, hopefully in a positive way. But I mean, if you look back on the things that you were in your life, maybe even not so far back, maybe even yesterday or 5 minutes ago, you may think to yourself, how could I have been that way or thought this way? But God is gracious and gives you that space to grow. And I know that we don't have the same loving capacity as God, but if we adopt his nature, I think we should try and give people that space to grow as well. So at this point in my life, I really am willing to have discussion with anybody as long as it's done sincerely and it's not foolish discussion, because some discussions, are just a waste of energy. You can finish talking to somebody and afterwards you are like, what was that? But you can tell the difference when you're engaged in a conversation where you are willing to listen and the person you're speaking to is willing to listen, whether you have opposite ideas. At least that's a place to start. But if it's a shouting match and no matter what you say, nothing you can say can be reasonable enough to another person, you can tell the difference anyways. And I think it's best to avoid those types because they will just drain energy from your soul. Um, but yeah, I just think about all this stuff. I mean, with all the chaos that's going on in the world, I think it's important that we're able to have dialogue with one another and speak. And I think that that is a form or an act of love, that can really move mountains. I really do think so. I think if we do everything in the spirit and of love, it really can move mountains. I confess that I used to be the type of person that if a person unfollowed me and just ignored me or had a problem with me, if I didn't know what it was, I mean, I'd just be like, God bless. To tell you the truth, at some point in my life, I learned not to stress about things I couldn't control or didn't know. But the more in tune you are with Christ, the more you are less about self and protecting your ego or protecting your ego, whatever it is, and you're more about loving people and you really want the best for them and the best for everybody. I don't want to lose a friend because we have different differing opinions. I still love my friends, even if they don't appreciate stuff that I say or I don't appreciate stuff that they say. If what I'm advocating for is the truth, I pray that the Lord Jesus open their eyes that they may see it. If they say something to me that's true, I pray that I have the humility to receive it. And that's just how it goes. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I know that the title of this video is illegal immigration, but really that is somewhat a cover to really speak about the value of love and the essence of discussion and balancing love with order. So instead of law and order, we have love and order, if that makes sense. Hey, Jesus Christ is King. God bless, and cheers from my empty cup.